lovely YouTubers. Welcome to my channel. I hope today is finding you doing beautifully. Yes, I do. I really do. Because I'm feeling quite lovely today. Quite lovely. So what are we talking about today? A few things I want to talk about. One thing I want to do is I want to continue my look into the book Revenge by Tom Bowers. There's a lot of people speaking about this book. I'm sure you have heard ad nauseum all the things about this book. But I think when you hear it from my perspective, I can give a little twist and turn and make it a little bit different. Things maybe you haven't heard before. Finding maybe perhaps some teachable moments. Yes, we need to find ways to learn, to look at how perhaps these people, these super privileged people, can look at their lives and understand the great position in life that they were born into. And some that have just found themselves into these positions of great privilege and how they get there. You know what's so interesting? I was thinking about how Miss Megzy has gotten into the position she's in, and you're going to really be surprised about some things that I'm going to be talking about in chapter 4. And I'm going to just do a little bit on every chapter. And in this video, we're talking about chapter 4. Suits is the title of the chapter, and I'm going to give my perspective and some things you may not have heard me say before. But with that said, I really want us to look at the visual, because I see things in pictures. And when I look at what Megzy has done, I look at two people on a ladder. Yes, on a ladder. I mean, life is like climbing the ladder. We're all climbing, getting up every day, going to work, doing what we do just to get higher and higher and higher with our positions in life. Right? And so I look at someone like Thomas Markle and how symbolically he's climbed this ladder. You know, he's had great success that has gotten him higher on this proverbial ladder. And he has managed to get himself quite high up on this ladder, right? And his children are on their own ladders right next to him, right? And so let's look at Megzy, for example. Let's just look at her, for example. And she's climbing her proverbial ladder, right? She's climbing her ladder, but her father sees her climbing the ladder next to him, and he sees that she's a little bit lower down on the ladder. And she's trying, Megzy is trying, she's trying to climb, and she keeps slipping down, and she's trying so hard. And then her father sees her, and he kind of helps her up a little bit, this ladder, kind of like, he's kind of helping her up this ladder, right? And she's like, "Oh, thank you, Daddy, thank you so much." And he's helping her climb up this ladder, and she's climbing. Oh, he's making it a little bit easier for her, right? And he's like, "There you go, girl, come on, I got you." And he's helping her. Megzy is doing better in life as well because her father has helped pick her up this ladder. We know the stories. We know the stories. And if you don't know the stories, you don't have a right to sit here and pass judgment on any of the things that I'm talking about because you don't have the 411. But for those of you that know what I'm talking about and know the stories, she's gotten equal siding with her dad on this proverbial ladder, right? And so before you know it, she gets this job. She gets this great opportunity as an actor to be on this television show, Suits. And before you know it, her father is in retirement. He's kind of stopped climbing the ladder, and he's like just enjoying the view, enjoying the good life, living in Mexico, retired, got the nice view of the ocean, and life is good for him. But his daughter, Megzy, she keeps climbing that ladder, and then she's gotten the boost from her dad, and she's a little bit higher up on that ladder, right? She's, a lot of things are coming her way, making real good money, and climbing that ladder. And it's like as if she gets on this ladder, and now Mr. Markle has been surpassed by his daughter on this ladder. Okay, and this is where we are in chapter 4. So I want you to keep listening because I'm going to show you how this picture is set by the end of this chapter. Chapter 4, Suits, Revenge, the war between the Windsors. Okay, so we're going to look at Megzy and Trevor. They've gotten married. Life is good. And Megzy gets this part on this Suits show. And this is the thing, you guys. we look at what Meghan or Megzy has been able to accomplish and getting on this show, Suits, making at first $50,000 an episode to making $75,000 an episode. This is good money. This is an opportunity that any actor, I don't care who it is, would want something like this, because only about 1% of actors even are able to make a living off of it. I don't. I know there's a lot of women out there like me that are not making their living from their acting careers. And Meghan was able to do that. And it wasn't until she started making this money that her real true personality came out. It wasn't about helping people. It was about, I'm good like that. And I'm so good like that when I go out into public, I'm afraid people are going to recognize me, so I don't want to go out. The nerve that she thinks so many people are watching this cable show that she could be recognized. This is how big her head got at the time. Even so much when her father would give some advice or he would give his opinion about things on the show, Meghan, she didn't like the criticism. She began talking down to her father at this time. Suddenly there was a command in her voice. She had outgrown her father. She gave the impression that she didn't need him anymore. The previously compassionate creature was becoming a woman, strong opinions, bigger ambitions, flush with money. Her sense of duty and obligation began to slip. Her duty and obligation, because the money was there. So there was no need to show my obligation and duty to anything, because I got the big head now. I can do what I want and I don't have to pretend like I care. I don't have to pretend like it matters to me anymore. She is living the good life and not liking the things that her dad is saying about the show. Like all actors, she was plagued with insecurity. She was aggressive in a good way. Early each day, Megzy was collected by a car from her small rented house in a tree-lined road in the Annex neighborhood. She met these other actors. She had a new group of friends. Trevor's back in California, still doing his thing as a producer, and she has suddenly surpassed her husband in status in Hollywood, while before they were all trying to make it together, being these unknowns in Hollywood. And suddenly she thinks a few million people or some people are watching this show, and she thinks all these people are in California at one time. So when she goes out in public, they're going to see her, and she's got to start protecting herself. Like, oh my God, the paparazzi. When she comes to visit her friends, she just can't go outside because they're going to attack her. All of the people that are waiting to see her because she's now on the show. But it wasn't that great. It wasn't that big of a show to have that big of a head. It just really wasn't like that. But this is what was waiting. This is what was festering while she was on the bottom of this ladder. This is what was festering in her head, that when she gets this opportunity, it's going to propel her into this great person that everyone is waiting to attack her with pictures. To Thomas Markle's surprise, she destroyed soon after her wedding all of the pictures, everything that had to do with capturing the evidence of this wedding to Trevor. But Mr. Markle, he kept some of his. Why would she want to destroy all of the pictures? Why would she want to destroy things that show this wonderful day that she was marrying her husband? Because she knew she was not going to stay married to this man. She knew she did not want to have kids with him. And I believe it was during this time when she did not want to have children, and Trevor did, that she stored her eggs. This is when she went and stored her eggs, because she had the money to do it. And she didn't want to do it at this time with this man. And this was key to me. She wanted no visual record of her marriage. By default, only her father's photos survived. And thank goodness they did. Love how when she got the second season confirmed for Suits, she ended up buying herself this really expensive Cartier watch. And it said 2mm from MM. Now, if that is somebody that just love their self and all the stank that come with it, I don't know who he is, because I'm telling you guys, that seems a little creepy. That's like you got all these people in your head, and like this one MM person's going to thank this other MM person for what a great thing we did getting another second season on this show, Suits. I mean, it just seems a little bit overboard. they had brought in a father to play Meghan's father on this show, Suits, Wendell Pierce, and that there were some racist people that when they found out that her mother was black, they didn't think that she was hot anymore because she had a black mama. And I've always told you guys this, it's not until you see her mother that this information is revealed to you. So the only way racism really reveals itself is when they see her mama. So liberated by her financial security, Meghan began to identify with her character, Rachel Zane, wearing Tom Ford pencil skirts, speaking about contracts and clients. She was becoming like Zane, an empowered, sassy, professional woman. Inevitably, her relationship with Trevor began to change. And this is when things really changed up for her, and she knew it's time to get to packing. She met these new people. When she went to this yoga class, and this is when she started to meet people outside of her own intimate world in LA. She starts meeting people from Canada because she's shooting the show in Suits, and meeting through her friend Jessica, the wife of the Prime Minister. And this is when she's just starting to get up high class in this lifestyle. Her new life in Toronto was what she had always dreamed of. And there is Meghan before fame and Meghan after fame. This is what her friend Pretty had summed up. Unapologetically, Meghan started canceling lunches with her old friends. You know, the tone in her voice, her mannerisms, the way she laughed just didn't seem real anymore. Her time became increasingly important. When she was in town, she'd want you to drop everything. It's like, drop it, because I'm here in town. I'm here to grace you with my presence, woman. And then her friend, who's seen her all her life growing up, suddenly she's thinking, well, this woman thinks she's all that in a tic tac, and she's just the woman I've always known. And something has changed about her. Something's changed. You've changed, woman. So Meghan had changed. She had become sharp, clear, and even cruel. Trevor also noticed his wife's transformation. You know, he soon got a package in the mail, no letter, no nothing, that said that she was basically saying, I don't want to be with you anymore. It's time to move on. And, you know, she starts to climb this ladder, but there was nothing more to absorb from him, nothing more to gain. He had been an opportunity, a starter marriage. Yes, he started the marriage, he gave her the opportunity, and now it's time to move on. Trevor, I've got to move out the way, move out the way. It's time for me to keep climbing up this ladder. It's time for me to get mine. She's making all this money. She's had this amazing opportunity on this show, Suits. Pretty starts to realize, you know, Meghan became very calculating in a way that she handled people and relationships. She was very strategic in this. And the way she cultivated her circle of friends. Once she decided you're not part of her life, she can be very cold. She shut down mechanisms that she has. There's nothing to negotiate. She has made her decision, and that is move out the way. It is obvious to me that she wasn't the friend I had grown up with anymore with. She had a circle of new friends. The end of the friendship was like a death. I mourned it for quite a while. Trevor called Thomas Markle, and we know Mr. Markle told me about this call with Trevor, and it was heartbreaking for Trevor to be just disposed of by his wife like this. Like, there was no warning, there was no sign. It was just really, you know, like gone for him. And in a sense, he was kicked off the ladder. She kicked him off because he was at this point kind of climbing the ladder with her. She kicked him off the ladder. And Trevor, she starts to say to her mother that he was mean to her. She starts to lie. And this is when the lies started to really get prevalent, because she had to at this point show that everything that was her truth prior to her getting this celebrity on Suits, it had to be dismissed because nothing gave her excuses for what she did. So this is when she had to really start lying about Trevor and lying about everyone in her life to make sense of her being cold and mean to everybody. Ached for this fame. She wanted it so, so bad. And it was during this time that while on that ladder, as Thomas helped climb up this ladder, she kicked him off. She kind of kicked him off his own ladder because she didn't need him anymore. But to do that to your own father, and she's still climbing this ladder, and now her husband now is Harry, and Harry is climbing the ladder with her. But what is so, I think, disgusting is that while climbing this ladder, you have the audacity and the nerve to kick other people off of their own ladders, because their lives are essentially destroyed because you no longer want to be in their lives. And so while Mr. Thomas is enjoying his retirement, living the good life, knowing his daughter is doing well, she has, in a sense, kicked him off of his own ladder in her ever-seeking goal to keep climbing her own ladder. Does that not tell you what we need to know about this person? Does that not show you the behavior, the nastiness of this person? And this is why people that don't really follow this, who really see it for what it is, they don't see this. This is where they're missing out on the truth, because they are missing the context of the information that really shows who this woman really is. And that she will use you, she will discard you, she is cold, and anyone that meant anything to her prior to her getting her fame means nothing now, because she's got the fame, she's got the status, and she doesn't need you anymore. You are since dead to her. This is chapter 4. It has told me a lot. This is the chapter that people need to read to really understand what happened. It was when she got this part on Suits that she got the big head, and she got climbing on that ladder that got her higher than anybody else that she knew in this time of her life. And she looked down on them because y'all don't mean nothing to me. As a matter of fact, kick you off and kick you off your ladder because you don't exist anymore. I don't need you, and I'm going to keep climbing my ladder. I'm a climbing, and fame and everything in the world is mine. Oh, mine, yes. And this, my friends, tells us everything we need to know about Meghan. Chapter 4, Revenge, Suits. It told me a lot.